Fluency English Podcast. You can speak fluency and confidently.
Welcome back to Fluency English Podcast.
It's so wonderful to be back with you and with all of our listeners.
Usually when we start these deep dives, I'm just like full of energy, bouncing around, ready to go. But I have to be honest with you and with everyone listening today, it feels a little different. Today we're talking about something that, well, frankly, it makes me feel a bit exposed. It feels personal.
You know, when a topic feels personal, that usually means we're onto something really good.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When we feel that little bit of discomfort, it means the topic actually matters. So go on. What's on your mind?
Okay, well, I have a confession to make. A pretty vulnerable one.
Okay.
This past weekend, I found myself in a situation that I think just happens to me way too often. I fell into a trap.
A trap? What kind of trap are we talking about?
The yes trap. Let me just set the scene. It was Saturday morning. I'd had a really brutal week at work. My brain was fried. My body was tired. All I wanted to do was rest.
Sounds familiar.
So I made myself a cup of tea. I grabbed a book, and I sat right there on the sofa. My plan was to do absolutely nothing. I was so excited about doing nothing.
That sounds like the perfect Saturday morning recovery plan.
It was perfect for about 20 minutes.
Oh, no.
Then there's a knock on the door. It's my neighbor. Now, he's a nice guy, don't get me wrong. But he looks at me and says, "Hey, I'm moving some old furniture out of my garage. It's really heavy stuff, sofas, tables. Could you give me a hand for maybe 30 minutes?
Ah, the classic neighbor request. I think we all know that situation.
Right. And inside my head, everything was just screaming no. My back was already hurting. I was exhausted. My internal voice was shouting, "Tell him you're busy. Tell him you need to rest."
And what did your mouth say?
My mouth. It was like it had a mind of its own. It was a reflex. Before I could even think, I put on this fake smile. I said, "Yeah, of course. I'd love to help. Let's do it right now."
And I'm guessing it wasn't just 30 minutes?
Of course not. It was 3 hours.
3 hours.
3 hours of lifting heavy sofas, carrying dusty boxes, sweating. And the whole time, I was just so angry. I was angry at him for asking, but mostly I was furious with myself. I felt like I had no control.
Peter, that is such a vivid and I think painful example of the problem we are tackling today. This is what we often call being a people pleaser.
A people pleaser. That's me.
And it's fascinating that you felt angry at yourself. You fell into that yes trap because you were afraid to just say no.
Exactly. I felt trapped by my own politeness. And that's why we're here today. I want to fix this. I really need to fix this.
And we are going to fix it. Our mission for this deep dive is very specific. We're looking at a stack of psychology articles, self-help research, all focused on one thing: how to stop seeking approval and start loving yourself more than anyone else.
Okay, hang on. Before we dive in, that phrase, loving yourself more than anyone else, to be honest, that sounds tricky. It sounds a little bit selfish. Are we trying to teach people to be, arrogant or to just ignore everybody?
I am so glad you said that. That is the first myth we need to destroy.
Okay.
There is a huge difference between being selfish and not abandoning yourself.
Not abandoning yourself.
Yes. Being selfish means you don't care about other people. You take everything for yourself. What we're talking about today is healthy respect. It's self-preservation. Think about it like this. You cannot pour water from an empty cup.
Right, that makes sense. If my cup is empty, I've got nothing left to give to my friends or my family.
Exactly. If you don't take care of yourself first, you eventually become useless to everyone else because you're burnt out. So this isn't about arrogance. It's about making sure you have enough energy to be a good human being.
Not abandoning yourself. I really like that phrasing. It feels much gentler. Okay, so we're going to learn how to keep our cups full.
We are. And before we go deeper, let's do a quick level check for our listeners. This is a B1 level episode.
Right. For our listeners, that means we're going to keep the English clear and simple. We'll speak at a natural, steady pace. We'll explain the difficult words.
Exactly. If you're an intermediate learner, this is perfect practice. Really focus on the phrases we use to describe emotions and relationships.
And if you're a beginner?
If you're a beginner, or if some concepts feel difficult, don't worry. Just let the words wash over you like background music. Listen to the rhythm. You'll understand the context even if you miss a word here and there.
That's great advice. Don't stress. Just listen. So, looking at our research today, what are the core concepts? What's the map for this deep dive?
We have 3 main pillars to climb today. First, setting boundaries, what they are and why they're so scary.
Okay.
Second, we'll discuss self-validation and self-worth. And third, we'll figure out how to handle that negative voice in our heads, the inner critic.
Boundaries, validation, and the inner critic. Okay, let's start with this idea of how we treat ourselves. You mentioned a concept in our research notes called the invisible price tag. This really caught my attention. What does that mean?
Okay, imagine you walk into a clothing shop. You see a jacket on the rack. How do you know how valuable that jacket is?
Well, I'd look for the price tag. If the tag says $5, I assume it's cheap, bad material. If it says $500, I assume it's luxury, high quality.
Exactly. And how do you treat the $5 jacket compared to the $500 jacket?
Oh, that's easy. The cheap one, maybe I just throw it on the floor of the changing room. I'm not careful. But the luxury jacket, I'm very careful. I hang it up nicely. I respect it.
Precisely. Now, here's the psychological concept. Imagine that every human being walks around with an invisible price tag hanging off their neck.
Okay.
But this tag isn't about money. It represents your value as a human. And here's the trick. The world doesn't set the price on your tag. You do.
I set my own price.
You write the price on the tag. And you write it with your behavior, with how you treat yourself.
So let's go back to my furniture story. When I instantly said yes, even though I was exhausted, I was writing a price on my tag.
Yes, you were writing a very low price. You were telling your neighbor and the world, my time is not valuable, my health is not important, my rest is worth $0, you can use me for free.
Wow. That hits home. That is painful to hear, but I totally see it.
It's a hard truth. But here is the mechanism you need to understand. People read your tag. If you treat yourself like you're cheap, if you always say yes, if you apologize for existing tag, people will treat you that way.
So they're not always trying to be mean.
Not necessarily. They're just following the instructions you gave them.
So my neighbor, he wasn't trying to be a jerk. He just read my tag. He thought, oh, Peter doesn't mind. Peter's always available. His time is free.
Exactly. Your behavior taught him a lesson. You taught him that you have no limits. And this leads to a really difficult truth about relationships. We train people how to treat us.
We train them, like you train a dog.
In a way, yes. It's behavioral conditioning. We reward them for treating us a certain way.
This reminds me of another story. I saw this in the notes and I realized it fits perfectly. Can I share the story of Bob?
Please do. I think the story of Bob is a perfect example of this training.
Okay. So a few years ago, I had this friend. Let's call him Bob. Bob was a total night owl. She loved to stay up late, wouldn't sleep until 3 or 4 in the morning.
Are you a night owl?
Definitely not. I work a normal job. I like to be up at 7 a.m. But Bob loved to send me messages at midnight, 1 a.m., just random thoughts or funny videos.
And what did you do when your phone buzzed at 1 a.m.?
I would wake up, I'd see it was Bob, and I'd think, oh, I should reply. I don't want to be rude. He's my friend.
You were being nice?
I thought I was just being nice, so I would rub my eyes, wake myself up, and type a reply. Haha, that's funny, or whatever.
You're trying to be a good friend, but what was the cost?
The cost was my energy. I was a zombie every morning. I was drinking so much coffee just to survive the day. It felt like my energy was just leaking away.
Mm-hmm.
And every time my phone buzzed at night, I felt this stress. But I kept doing it for months because I thought that's what nice people do.
And did it continue forever?
No. It stopped when I crashed. One night, I was just dead tired. I think I was getting sick. I fell asleep early and I slept like a rock. I didn't hear the phone at all.
So Bob messaged you?
He messaged me at 3 a.m., then at 1:30, then at 2 a.m. I didn't reply for hours. When I woke up the next morning, I had 5 angry messages.
You was angry?
Furious. He was saying things like, where were you? Why are you ignoring me? He was genuinely mad at me.
And that is the turning point. That is the moment of realization.
I was shocked. I thought, why is he angry? I'm allowed to sleep. But then it hit me. I caused this.
Precisely. You trained him. You taught him that you are available 24 hours a day. You established a rule. Peter always replies.
Wow.
So when you finally acted like a normal human who needs sleep, he was confused and angry because you broke the rule that you created.
That is a tough pill to swallow. I trained him to disrespect my sleep.
It's not about blaming yourself. It's about understanding the mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
The lesson here is that kindness needs a limit. If kindness doesn't have a limit, it's not kindness anymore. It's just submission.
Kindness needs a limit. That leads us directly to that big, scary word we mentioned, boundaries.
Yes, boundaries. This is a word we hear everywhere now, but let's strip away the complex psychology. For our B1 English learners, how do we define a boundary in a simple way?
Yeah, let's keep it simple. What is a boundary?
A boundary is simply a personal limit. It's the line between what is okay for you and what is not okay for you.
Okay versus not. Okay, I can get that.
Think of your life as a house. You're the owner of the house. Now, how do you protect your house?
Well, a house has walls, and it has doors.
Exactly. Now, here's the mistake people make. They think a boundary is a giant, solid brick wall. They think setting a boundary means shutting everyone out.
Right, like building a fortress. Stay away, leave me alone.
And that's not a healthy boundary. That's isolation. A healthy boundary is not a wall. It's a door.
Ooh, I love this metaphor. A door. Tell me more about the door.
Think about a door. It has a handle. It has a lock. And most importantly, you have the key.
I have the key.
You're the owner. You decide when to open the door.
Mm-hmm.
You decide who comes inside. You decide how long they stay. And you decide when it's time to close the door because you need to rest.
So I'm not blocking everyone out forever. I'm just controlling the access.
Correct. You can open the door and be very warm and loving. Come in, let's have tea. But when you're tired, you can say, okay, the visit is over now. I'm closing the door. That is a boundary.
It sounds so reasonable when you explain it like that. It sounds powerful, but in practice, honestly, it's scary.
What specifically are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of the anger. If I start closing the door on people who are used to walking right in, they're going to get mad. I'm afraid they'll stop liking me.
This is the fear of reaction. And I want to validate that fear. It's real. Because here's what will happen. When you start setting boundaries, some people will be unhappy.
See? That's exactly what I want to avoid.
But let's analyze who gets unhappy. Usually, the people who get angry are the ones who benefited from you having no boundaries.
Ah, the people who liked my free price tag.
Exactly. If your neighbor loves that you always move his furniture for free, he'll be disappointed when you say no. They're feeling uncomfortable because they lost a privilege.
So their anger isn't because I'm doing something wrong. It's because I changed the rules.
Yes. They are surprised by your new standard. It doesn't mean they're evil people. It just means they got used to the old you, the yes man.
The yes man. I definitely want to retire that character, so I have to be willing to let them be uncomfortable so that I can have peace.
That is the trade-off. Their comfort for your peace. Which one is more valuable to you?
My peace, of course, when you put it that way.
And that brings us to the internal change. Setting a boundary is an external action saying no. But before you can do that, something inside you has to shift. You have to believe you are worth protecting.
Which brings us to self-worth.
Exactly. Section 3, self-worth and validation.
Self-worth, we hear this all the time, know your worth. But it can feel a bit abstract. What does it actually mean in a practical daily sense?
Self-worth means believing that you have value as a human being simply because you exist. Your value does not go up or down based on what you do.
Wait, that's hard to grasp. I often feel like my value depends on my productivity. If I have a good day at work or a good English day, I feel valuable. But if I make mistakes, I feel like I'm worth less.
That's the trap. You're connecting your worth to your performance. But true self-worth is stable. It's not connected to money or how you look or your grammar.
So even on my worst day, when I'm lazy and make mistakes, I still have value.
Yes. There's a powerful phrase I want our listeners to learn. My worth is not up for discussion.
My worth is not up for discussion. That is strong. It sounds like a fact.
It is a fact. But many of us don't believe it. Instead, we seek validation.
Validation. Okay, that's the difference between self-worth and validation.
Validation is when you look outside of yourself to prove that you are good. You're looking for other people to confirm your value.
Like when I post a photo on social media and then I just wait for the likes.
That is the perfect modern example. You post a photo, you think you look good. Then you put the phone down and you wait. You check it 5 minutes later. Why?
I want the number to go up. If I get 50 likes, I feel okay. If I get 100 likes, I feel great. I think people like me.
But what if you get 0 likes? Or what if someone leaves a nasty comment?
Oh, I feel terrible. My mood just crashes. I want to delete it immediately.
That's because you've given away your power. I like to use the remote control metaphor here.
Oh, I like metaphors. Tell me about the remote control.
Imagine your emotions are a television, and there's a remote control that changes the channel. Click, you're happy. Click, you're sad. Click, you're angry.
Okay, I can see that.
When you seek validation, you are handing that remote control to other people, to strangers on the internet, to your boss, to your friends.
I'm letting them change my channel.
Yes. One rude comment from a stranger, and click, your day's ruined. They press the button. You become fragile.
Fragile. That is the perfect word for it. It feels like I'm made of glass. One little stone can just break me.
And we don't want to be fragile. We want to be stable. We want to keep the remote control in our own hands.
So how do I get the remote control back?
You have to realize a simple truth. I am enough. even while I am improving.
I am enough, even while I am improving. I like the second part of that, because usually people just say, I am enough. But I know I have things to work on. I want to improve my English.
Exactly. You can have goals. You can want to grow. But your value doesn't change. You are enough right now. You stop living for the audience.
To live for myself, I guess I need to actually know myself, right?
That is the crucial next step. You can't love yourself if you don't know yourself. Which brings us to section 4, self-awareness.
Self-awareness. It sounds like something a monk does on a mountaintop.
It can be, but for us, it's much simpler. It's about doing a simple audit of your life, a checkup. You need to ask 2 questions. What drains me and what triggers me?
Let's look at the vocabulary. Drain. That means to empty something, right?
Yes. Think of your energy like a battery on your phone. You start the day at 100%. Some activities or some people make that battery percentage go down very fast. They drain you.
And then there's the other word, trigger.
A trigger is different. A trigger is like a button. Someone presses it and boom, you have an instant emotional reaction. You feel suddenly angry or suddenly very sad.
So drain is slow, like a leak. Trigger is fast, like an explosion.
Exactly. And to know yourself, you have to identify these things.
Okay, let's talk about common drains. I know one of mine. It's called doom scrolling.
Ah, yes. Doom scrolling. Can you explain what that is for our listeners?
Sure. It's when you sit with your phone, usually at night, and you just scroll through bad news, scary headlines, people arguing in the comments, and you just keep scrolling looking for more doom.
And how does your head feel after an hour of that?
Cloudy. Heavy. I feel tired, but I can't sleep. It's awful.
That's a classic energy drain. So self-awareness is just noticing that. You say, oh, look, when I do this, I feel bad, so maybe I should stop.
It sounds so simple, but what about people? Can people be drains?
Absolutely. We call them battery thieves.
Battery thieves. I love that.
You know who they are. You talk to them for 10 minutes, and they only complain. They're negative about everything. When you leave the conversation, you feel like you need a 3-hour nap.
I definitely know a few battery thieves. They just steal my charge.
Right, and self-awareness is just noticing this. It's like cleaning a dirty window.
Another great metaphor.
Imagine your mind as a window. If it's covered in dirt and mud from stress from doom scrolling, everything outside looks messy and gray. You can't see clearly.
So identifying my drains and my triggers, that's like wiping the dirt off the window.
Yes, and to clean the window, you need quiet moments. You need to sit, maybe journal, maybe walk without headphones. Just be with yourself for a bit.
That's difficult for me. Silence makes me anxious.
And that is often why we need it. Because when we get quiet, we start to notice things we usually ignore. And one of the first things people notice is the sorry habit. This is section 5.
Oh, the sorry habit. This is me, 100%. I apologize for everything.
Tell me, when do you say sorry?
All the time. If I need to ask a question, I say, sorry to interrupt. If someone bumps into me on the street, I say, oh, sorry. It's a reflex.
A reflex, that's exactly it. But let's analyze it. When you apologize, when you've done nothing wrong, what are you actually apologizing for?
I guess. I'm apologizing for being there, for existing.
Yes, you are apologizing for taking up space.
That sounds really sad when you say it like that. I'm sorry that I exist.
It is sad, and it sends a message to your own brain and to other people. I don't deserve space.
So we need to stop shrinking.
Stop shrinking. Don't apologize for being human. If you spill coffee on someone, of course say sorry. But don't say sorry for asking a question.
I'm going to try that. But I know what happens. A voice inside my head starts shouting. It says, who do you think you are? You're being rude.
Ah, yes. The guest that arrived without an invitation. The inner critic.
The inner critic. It feels like a bully living in my mind.
It is a bully, and it's usually very mean. Think about the things you say to yourself. You are stupid. You are going to fail.
Everyone is laughing at you. That's a big one for me.
Now, would you ever say those words to your best friend?
Never. If I told my friend, you are stupid, I wouldn't be a friend. I'd be a monster.
Exactly. You are kinder to others than you are to yourself. Why is it okay to bully yourself?
It shouldn't be, but that voice, it feels so real. It feels like it's telling the truth.
That's the trick. It pretends to protect you, but it just uses fear. We need to distinguish between fear and facts. I like the metaphor of fog and flashlight.
Fog and flashlight. Break that down.
Fear is like fog. When you're driving in thick fog, everything looks big and scary. A small bush looks like a monster. Fog distorts reality.
That's how my anxiety feels. I make one small mistake and the fog makes me think I'm going to be fired, I'll lose my house.
That's the drama director in your head. Now, what cuts through fog?
Oh.
A flashlight. Facts are the flashlight. When the inner critic screams, you shine the flashlight of facts. You ask, is this a fact or is this fear?
Okay, so inner critic says, everyone hates you. I shine the flashlight. The fact is, my friend just smiled at me. The thought is false, it's just fog?
Exactly. You challenge a bully with evidence. Is that really true?
Yeah.
Usually the answer is no.
I like that. Is this a fact or is this fear?
Write that on a sticky note, because once you can manage the critic, you can finally move to the practical action, saying no. This is section 6, and it's the hardest part for many people.
How to say no without feeling crushed by guilt.
Guilt has a big mouth, doesn't it?
It does. It screams, you are selfish.
We have to remember, saying no is not cruel. It's self-respect. But many people make a mistake here. They fall into the over-explaining trap.
Oh, I live in that trap. If I can't go to a party, I don't just say no. I write a 5-page essay. I can't come because my cat is sick and I have a headache and I have to work early and I'm really sorry. Please don't hate me.
It's a sticky trap. You think if you explain enough, they won't be mad. But really, over-explaining makes you look weak. It's like you're asking for permission to say no.
Asking permission to say no, that's exactly what it feels like. So, what should I say?
Simple, clear, B1 English. Let's practice some scripts.
Okay, give me a scenario. Someone asked me to help them move furniture again.
You say, I can't today, but thank you for asking.
That's it. No excuse. No lie about having other plans.
No, I can't today is a complete sentence. Try another one. Your boss asks you to stay late, but you have a family dinner.
I'm not available this evening.
Perfect. Or simply, I need to rest tonight.
I need to rest tonight. It feels so naked, like I'm not hiding.
And that's why it's powerful.
Oh.
The rule is short, clear, kind, no long stories.
And what happens when I start doing this? Besides feeling terrified.
The result is space. When you stop filling your life with things you don't want to do, you create empty space.
And space is good.
Space is essential. Joy needs room to breathe. If your life is crowded with yes, there's no room for joy.
That's a beautiful thought. Joy needs room to breathe. And I guess that connects to happiness in general. We often treat happiness like it's something we have to earn.
Yes, this is section 7, happiness, perfection, and social media. Many people think happiness is a reward.
Like dessert. Eat your vegetables, do your work, and then you can have cake happiness.
Exactly. You tell yourself, I'll be happy after I finish this project, or I'll be happy after I learn perfect English.
But the list never ends. There's always another project.
Correct. Happiness isn't a reward at the end. It's part of your health now. You need small joys.
Small joys, like what?
Noticing the sunlight on the floor, drinking a coffee slowly, listening to a song you love. They are fuel.
I try to do that, but then I look at Instagram
Yeah.
and I see people on yachts or with perfect bodies, and suddenly my slow coffee feels pathetic.
That is the comparison trap.
Yeah.
You're comparing your real life, which is messy, to their highlight reel.
Their highlight reel, like the best moments of a movie.
Yes. On social media, people post the 1 second where they look perfect. They don't post the argument they had 5 minutes later. They don't post the mess in their kitchen.
So I'm comparing my messy kitchen to their fake perfect kitchen.
Exactly. And perfection is a myth anyway. It's a moving target.
A moving target.
Yes. Imagine you're trying to hit a target,
Yeah.
but every time you get close, someone moves the target further away. That is perfection. You will never catch it.
So if we chase perfection, we will never be happy.
Never. So instead of measuring your life by photos or perfection, measure it by your values. Are you kind? Are you honest? Are you learning? That's what matters.
That is a much better way to measure success,
Yeah.
but we're human. We will fail. I'll probably say sorry unnecessarily 5 times tomorrow.
And that is okay. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to be able to bounce back. This is our final section, section 8.
Bounce back, like a ball hitting the floor.
It is. When a ball hits the floor, it doesn't stay there. It bounces up again. Bouncing back means recovering after you fail.
So if I fail, if I let someone cross my boundary, I shouldn't beat myself up.
No, that just keeps you on the floor. To bounce back, you need to build confidence. And you build confidence with tiny bricks.
Tiny bricks, not big rocks.
No, huge changes are scary. Confidence is built by small wins. Getting out of bed is a brick. Answering one email is a brick. Taking a walk is a brick. You stack them up one by one until you have a wall.
I like that. I don't have to build the whole wall today, just lay one brick.
Precisely. And the heaviest thing that stops us from bouncing back is the backpack we carry.
The backpack.
The backpack of old guilt. Imagine you're hiking up a mountain, but you're carrying a backpack filled with rocks. Each rock is a mistake you made 5 years ago.
Oh, I carry that backpack everywhere. It is very heavy.
You have to put the backpack down. That is called forgiveness.
But how do I forgive myself?
You use a simple statement. I am human. I learned. I will do better.
I am human. I learned. I will do better.
That's it. You acknowledge the mistake, you extract the lesson, and you let the shame go. You deserve a fresh start. Every morning is a fresh start.
That's incredibly liberating. I feel lighter just hearing that. I am human.
You are. And that is enough.
Wow. We have covered so much ground today. My brain is full, but in a good way.
It is a lot to process. That's why we always end with our calm word tour.
Yes. Let's do the recap. We'll review the key English vocabulary from today. I'll say the word, and you remind us what it means.
Ready?
First word, standard.
Standard. This is your personal rule, the level of quality you accept. If you treat yourself well, you set a high standard.
Second word, reliable.
Reliable. This is a person you can trust. But remember, you can be reliable without being a slave to everyone.
Third word, overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. This is when you feel like you're drowning in tasks or emotions. Your brain feels full. It's a sign you need to rest.
Fourth word, fragile.
Fragile means easily broken or hurt. When we rely on validation from others, our self-esteem becomes fragile.
And finally, the big distinction, selfish versus self-care.
The most important one. Selfish is ignoring others to only help yourself.
Yeah.
Self-care is keeping yourself healthy so you can help others. It is not selfish to rest.
It is not selfish to rest. I'm going to remember that.
We have one final step, a call to action for our listeners.
Yes. We want you to try this. So here's our request. Do one small thing this week. Choose one boundary. Or speak one kind sentence to yourself.
Just one tiny brick.
And please, leave a comment on this episode. We want to know. What is one thing you love about yourself?
It can be anything. I love that I'm a good cook. I love that I am patient. Anything at all.
We really want to read those.
We do.
Thank you so much for listening. Remember, this is a journey. You're still learning, and that is the whole point.
Be kind to yourself this week.
This has been the Fluency English Podcast. See you next time.